Okay, I just noticed on the camera how red I am. I guess I got some sun today. Even though I was pretty much covered most of the day. That's pretty strange. But I do have some news, sunscreen or not. I got some news to cover today. We have an actual environmental group congratulating the cruise lines. That's a pretty interesting story. I always like to look at some stories of local news when a big ship comes into a port that doesn't normally arrive. And I was checking out today's Liverpool, and they were welcoming the guests of the Regal Princess and talking about the ship and everything. Only thing is, it's the wrong ship they're talking about. We actually have a case of a town council asking cruise ships to stop blowing their horn when they leave the cruise port because, 100,000 people complained. No, sorry, it wasn't 100,000. Was it 1,000? No, it wasn't 1,000 people. It was one complaint. Recently, a lot of the Arctic expedition cruise ships and the association out there agreed to not sail through Eclipse Sound. Now, that area is a well-known area for narwhal, where they don't, narwhal are still protected. They are still slightly endangered, and the cruise line said, hey, okay, we will not sail through that area. We'll go around it through another area. And the environmental, including the Inuits, are very, very thrilled with this decision. And you don't hear that very often. You do not hear environmental groups praising a cruise line very often, or let alone a whole cruise line association. So good on them, and I'm glad they recognize when cruise lines do good as well as when they do poorly. So it's always fair to have compliments as well as criticism when things go wrong. Now, one criticism at Scotland, where, believe it or not, the town council has asked the cruise lines to no longer sound their horn as they leave harbor, which has been the tradition for sailing ships for hundreds of years, whether it's the old bells on the wooden mast ships when they're leaving the harbor, or the newer cruise ships when they leave harbor, they say goodbye and thank you to the townsfolks. That's their tradition. Well, apparently they've asked them not to do that anymore because of one noise complaint. That's right, not 100. Not 1,000, one noise complaint. I would love to live in that city and say, you know what? I live across the street from the city hall. You guys are making way too much noise. Can you please just stop making so much noise at your meetings and see if they actually would be quiet in a government building? Because imagine reacting to a single noise complaint. Now, if the town came out and said, hey, this is really disturbing people, etc., it's near the hospital, whatever the reason would be, and the whole town was up against it, in fact, it's the opposite. People have actually started a petition to say, hey, we like to hear the cruise ship horns sound when they sail. We like to hear them saying goodbye and thank you. Some of the ships have unique sounds, like a Disney ship or the Princess putting the Love Bone theme out there. They like to hear this, and they've actually started a petition. So far the petition's around 1,200 people. It just got started, and the noise complaint saying don't do it is at one. Governments. Don't get me started. Some people last year who were sailing out of Norfolk in Virginia had their cars broken into at the cruise terminal parking lot. Well, this year they say you don't have to worry because they've spent a lot of money to upgrade the terminal security system. A lot more closed-circuit TVs and a lot more security checks are going on in Norfolk, which is good news because you never like to go to a cruise thinking you're safe leaving your car parked in a big cruise terminal at the port, you would think there's security there, you would think everything's okay, and then to have your car smashed, windows and broken into while you're out at sea. I mean, not too many people are leaving valuables in their car at the cruise terminal. So I don't know what they're breaking into them for other than the radios. I don't know. Because most people bring their stuff with them when they go on a cruise. So even there, I don't know what the thieves were thinking. And finally, I have a story about a post out here in one of the local newspaper or something, of one of the blogs out here, that was, welcoming the Regal Princess into town. And I got kind of, and I'm not doing this to rag on them. I'm not doing this to make fun of them or anything like that, because mistakes happen. I've made mistakes. Lots of people make mistakes. I get called out for a mistake all the time, especially in my pronunciation of things. But this was funny because it actually made me go, what? And it made me go up on the top deck and look. So they start off by saying that they're welcoming the Regal Princess. It's on a 14-day British Isle cruise, and I go, well, it's a 12-day, but okay, that's a little mistake. That's not a big deal. But then they go on to say that it holds like 4,500 passengers, 1,500 crew, and I'm going, well, it holds 3,500 passengers. That could have been a typo. Okay, I'll let that. And then they start showing this overview by a TikToker. And they have a close-up photo of it and saying, on the back of the ship you can see water slide and you can see mini golf and it has a basketball court, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, I've been on the Regal many times. Have they installed a water slide that I didn't know about? And did they change this? Did they go in for refurbishment and I didn't know it? And I ran up to the top deck and no. No, they were showing the wrong ship. They're showing a Royal Caribbean ship. You can even see the Royal Caribbean symbol on the top deck in front of the picture. But yeah, that's definitely a Royal Caribbean designed ship. Not one of the big Oasis class, but still a large ship. And it probably can hold 4,500 passengers, and they are probably on a cruise around, but it's definitely not the Regal Princess. Princess does not have water slides, which caught me really off guard. And even a mini putt. I think the closest thing to a mini putt they have is like a putting green with a few holes here and there. It's not really a mini putt. So, yeah. Close, but I do appreciate them welcoming the Regal Princess to port and saying that a lot of people were saying it's probably their favorite ship. And yeah, if you're loyal to a ship, I don't blame you. People love certain ships. People love that the certain captains are on certain ships all the time, and the certain crew like to come back to the same ships. They like the cruise director who's on board. It tends to be the same cruise director on the same ship every once in a while. And so, yeah, a lot of people grow very, very accustomed to their cruise that they prefer and ship that they prefer. Myself, I've been on every royal class ship in Princess now, except the Enchanted Princess, and I have to get on her at some point. So that way I can say I've been on every royal class ship in the fleet. So yeah, thanks for welcoming us, but that wasn't us. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.